to go ahead and go on to the next question here, and it comes through to Phoenix, and it has to do with Nash and the team, the Brooklyn Nets. So they have now an addition to their roster. LaMarcus Aldridge, he's agreed to came to an agreement to a buyout on his contract with the San Antonio Spurs, and now is joining the Brooklyn Nets. So now, just to add talent to that roster, they're just loaded. And that is something that a team or a coach in the first year coaching really does not come about. And Nash is doing that. Nash, D'Antoni, Stoudemire, and everyone. And just, we know we don't have, we can go down the list of the, names that they have on that roster. They're all all-stars. So that's one of a kind that you don't really have. And the thing is here, and I want to ask you and your thoughts on this, on getting Aldridge added to the roster, but there's been a lot of, I wouldn't say hate, but disapproval or dislike on all this power that the Nets have on their roster. So do you see that as, I guess, legitimate for a lot of people out there to not be happy about this? I want to go ahead and ask you both, Jon and Ed, and what your thoughts are on this, because I was watching a TV sports analyst show, and there was someone who said that they're pretty much stealing a championship. What is your take on that comment?
I mean, I don't know if you can call it stealing. Buying a championship might be a phrase I'd use, but we've seen that in every sport. It happens. The Dodgers just did it in baseball. I mean, it's something that doesn't happen every year. Money doesn't always win, but it wins probably more than it loses. And in this case, a lot of people are upset because it's the rich getting richer. You look at a Brooklyn Nets team that's loaded already with those stars of Harden and Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and Durant not even really playing much yet, and yet they're already up on top of the East. So it's pretty safe to say they're going to be a formidable force. But I will say that I'm not mad. I'm not upset at it. Am I a fan of it? No, I don't love the whole super team idea, but I don't know if I guess this was a super team before LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin went there. I mean, that's kind of how I feel. It was already a super team. So did I love that? No, that Kyrie and Kevin Durant and James Harden had to team up to try to win a championship. But this is the power that the players have in the league right now. And this is the current league that we're in. So I'm okay with it. I think it still doesn't mean they're going to win it all. Now, Steve Nash could make it happen. I mean, we love Steve here, obviously. A lot of people do. Love Mike D'Antoni and Amari also. And don't forget Kiwi. I mean, Sean Marks deserves a ton of credit. He's the general manager of this whole deal, and he played here too. So a lot of connections once again, just as it seems like every time there's this crazy super team that comes along, you could point out all the roads lead back to Phoenix. Remember the Warriors. How many of us, I say us as members of Suns, made their way there, from Rick Welch to Steve Kerr to on down the list. So it's a similar feeling with regards to the Nets. And chemistry is important. So you can bring all these all-stars together, but it doesn't mean you're going to win it all. You have a good chance and clearly a better chance than most. But I'm interested to see how it all plays out. Steve's definitely got his work cut out for him, managing all the egos in that room. But if you win, it makes it easy to manage. If you lose and things get sideways, that's where it can be a very difficult job. Because you want to talk about expectations. They're through the roof right now, Brooklyn.
Yep.
Oh, yes, it is. But they're living up to it right now, 32-15, a half game behind the Philadelphia 76ers in the Eastern Conference. But I have no issue with it. You're in this business with 29 other teams. If you're the Brooklyn Nets, you're in this business to win a championship. And the way you win championships is by acquiring talent and getting that talent to come together and play to their best abilities, come together with that chemistry you talked about Bloomer, and come together and win it and win get that jewelry. It's all about getting that jewelry and hoisting that trophy at the end of the NBA Finals, and that's what the Brooklyn Nets are doing. If they want to go get LaMarcus Aldridge, if they want to go get Blake Griffin, if they want to already have three bona fide Hall of Famers, three of I would say arguably three of the top 5 basketball players, if not the top 10 basketball players in this league on their team, then go for it. Yes, I have no issue with it. Just like I didn't have an issue a couple years ago when KD went out to get his championships out in Golden State. Do what you have to do to get that jewelry. Do you?
And yeah, and this is something that we've seen. We've seen this starting, kind of like the players, kind of recruiting players, you can call it, starting off a few years ago, and it's just year after year, it's just been gotten more popular, and they're just you just make those connections, you grow, you play together, and you may want to, your someone that you play with is now with, one team, and hey, we play great together, let's go ahead and do this. NBA started doing that. Now we're seeing also that go on to the NFL as well. We're seeing that, we see that sometimes in baseball, but now over the last couple of years is just becoming more and more popular. And I think this is the way that the sport is going to be now.
Mm-hmm. Seems like it. And, maybe more sports, like you said, with football, baseball, other sports getting involved in a similar type of thing. It's a little harder. You just have such bigger rosters in those sports than you do making a difference in basketball. But, the thing about it for me, I don't love when guys force their way out of a team after signing a contract with that team, unless they've been wronged. If I feel like they've been wronged and there's negligence by the team, or the team hasn't done the right things, and there has been a pretty long-standing, documented, chasm, or whatever word you want to use, in the relationship between the player and the front office, and I get it. But if it's just because you want to win, that's getting to a point where it's, to me, a little tricky, because in one way you're turning your back on your teammates, right? I get it that you want to win, but you don't think the rest of the dudes in the room want to win too? And so it's like, yeah, you're the star, so you can get out because you can make a big enough stink that they have to trade you, because if they don't, it's just going to get toxic and worse and worse. And what are the other options? So I don't love that direction. But I get it, and I understand it, and I'm not trying to say that the players shouldn't have the ability to move teams, because they certainly get moved by their bosses all the time, and without warning sometimes, where it's just next thing you know, hey, guess what? You got to pick up and move your family to another city across the country. That happens all the time. So why shouldn't a player have the ability to do it? I guess they should, but I don't like it during the middle of the season. I guess, that maybe that's where I stand, is what we saw with James Harden, to me, rubbed me the wrong way. But I think it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And so if the ideal situation happens for Suns fans, the Brooklyn Nets will make their run all the way to the finals. And guess who they will meet? And guess who the rest of the country will jump on board and root for, because they probably don't like the way that team was constructed either.